Well, things may change. On Thursday, the Federal Communications Commission is planning to vote on net neutrality. Net neutrality? I mean, that sounds good, huh? Another wonderfully politically correct sounding name. It is also something that most people don't know anything about, and it could wildly affect your life and free speech. Phil Kerpen, Policy Director for Americans for Prosperity and the Chairman of the Internet Freedom Coalition, is here to explain a little bit about the policy that President Obama says he will take a backseat to no one on. Wow. So he believes in this.
He is a big proponent of this. He was out on the campaign trail. This is an issue that very few Americans know about, but to the hardcore ideological left, especially the online left, this is their holy grail. This is something they've been pushing for a long, long time.
Let me be fair here, because we called the Christian Coalition today because they've signed up for it too, and they're like, we think it's a good thing.
There are a few conservative groups that are on board with Free Press's effort. And Free Press, the group we've talked about a little on the program before, they're the lead group on this.
Yeah.
And they've signed up a few of these conservative groups by telling them this scare story that if we don't get government to step in and regulate, the big bad phone and cable companies will block Christian sites because they don't like what you have to say, and so on and so forth.
The Christian Coalition actually told us today that they thought the government would be a better watchdog than the free market system for Christians. Have you met some of these people here? Maybe it's just me. Okay, so it's actually about three things, okay? First one is access. Can we play the president here and SOT number one?
I will take a backseat to no one in my commitment to network neutrality.
He believes in it, and it's all about access. What do you mean by that?
Well, they want to guarantee that everyone has access to broadband internet, and that means they want to turn it into something of an entitlement. They want to ensure that everyone has it, that they subsidize it. There's $7.2 billion of stimulus funding that goes toward building out broadband, subsidizing it, and so on. It's being overseen by Susan Crawford.
I'm trying to remember. Oh, Susan Crawford. Oh, yeah, the internet czar. Okay, I remember her. I'm trying to remember back in the 30s when we gave everybody free radios because they needed access to radio. Or in the 50s when everybody got a free television because they needed to have a free television. Or in the 1980s when we had cable and everybody had to have free cable. Why is this different?
Well, I agree with you. I don't think it is different, but I think that we've got a group of far left people who believe in some of the basic tenets of redistribution, who believe everyone ought to have access to certain things, and they want to make that happen through the power of government.
All right, so give me Van Jones, please, on net neutrality.
It does no good to win on net neutrality if net neutrality winds up having a neutral impact on the lives of the people. I would argue that fighting not just at the FCC, as important as that is, but fighting to make sure that every local city and municipality is making free broadband available to everybody has to be number one on our agenda. It has to be.
Number one on the agenda. Wow. By the way, Free Press was so proud that we were going to help them get publicity this week that clip that you just saw, which we grabbed a while ago, yeah, it's too bad we have archives here. They've scrubbed that now from their website, but that's sure, they're proud of that. Why is Van Jones involved? Why does he think this is so great?
Well, Van Jones was a Free Press board member until he went into the administration. Van Jones has been praised by many of these radical left-wing groups, as you know, and he was speaking there at a Free Press event. We had the logo there in the background. And I think the reason they took it down from their website is right now they're trying to act like they're the good guys. We're stopping these bad phone and cable companies. We're going to keep everything fair and neutral.
Kind of hard when you have Robert McChesney, who is the co-founder of Free Press. Can you explain who this guy is?
He is a hardcore Marxist. He's a professor at the University of Illinois, formerly at the University of Wisconsin. And he has said that we need structural media reform, things like the Fairness Doctrine, things like taxing commercial radio to subsidize nonprofit, things like net neutrality, in order to pave the way for a revolution. He uses that term.
He uses the term revolution. And he also talks about taking capitalism apart brick by brick, does he not?
He did. He advised President Obama that he must brick by brick take apart capitalism.
Take apart capitalism brick by brick. Remember the guy who was, ahead of all the green jobs? The communist taking apart capitalism brick by brick. Isn't that interesting? So the second reason to have net neutrality is social justice. When we come back, the third, which really should disturb you. Next.